Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of White Collar Coffee Conversations. As forensic accountants who work with attorneys and investigators on cases related to financial fraud, complex commercial litigation, damages, and many other issues, we're putting together brief interviews with leaders across the financial and legal world to provide you with insights on our work and to look at trends going forward. I'm Becky O'Malley. I'm a certified fraud examiner and with experience in internal and fraud investigations.
And I'm Chris Ekimoff, a CPA with experience in fraud cases, Ponzi schemes, and white-collar litigation matters.
Our conversation today focuses on the ABA's Conference on White-Collar Crime 2021. RSM has been a sponsor for many years, and we always look forward to the opportunity to spend time and to connect with our colleagues and friends at the conference.
Although this year's event is currently being held in Miami, as you might be able to see now, travel restrictions and COVID have kept many of us from participating, except for remotely. But we're lucky enough to have two esteemed speakers with us for today's coffee conversation.
That's right. We're joined by Nina Marino. Nina is the founding partner of Kaplan Marino, a white-collar criminal defense firm based in Los Angeles. Nina is a California certified criminal specialist with national practice focus on white-collar and complex criminal matters. Since 1998, Kaplan Marino has been representing people suspected and or accused of criminal conduct in both state and federal courts. Nina has been on the planning committee for the ABA White Collar Conference for the last decade. Thanks for joining us, Nina.
Thanks, Becky.
We're also joined by Jamila Hall, a partner at JonesDay in the Investigation and White Collar Defense Group, resident in the firm's Atlanta office. She's a former federal prosecutor who now represents corporations and corporate executives in high-stakes trials and government investigations. She also serves as the East Coast Vice Chair of the Women's White Collar Defense Association, or WWCDA. Great to see you, Jamila.
You too, Chris. Hey, Becky.
All right, let's jump right in. You are recording this on site at the conference. Nina, can you share with us the mood, how's the attendance been, and what are you looking forward to this week in Miami?
So I also am the co-chair of continuing legal education for the criminal justice section of the ABA. And I can tell you there was a lot of trepidation regarding what our turnout was ultimately going to be. And I'm very happy to report that we have over 500 registrants at the conference. And while the rooms feel a little bit empty, I think, all things being equal, this is the first big conference of the criminal justice section since the pandemic started. And we are all feeling really, really good that everybody's here, that could be here. And everyone that is here is super happy.
That's great to hear. Jamila, I know you spoke earlier today at a session about the regional focus of white-collar issues as a Southeastern practitioner in Atlanta. What topics resonated with the panel that you were on this year, both from the Southeast specifically as well as nationally?
Yeah, Chris, we had a really great conversation this morning, and to Nina's point, a fantastic turnout. One of the things we were talking about, it's interesting to think about what's coming up in the conference, because we were talking about whether there is yet a national initiative or mission that we can really see in the prosecutions that are coming through the pipe. And the Deputy Attorney General, Lisa Monaco, will be here tomorrow morning, and so I hope somebody asks. If not, I will. So we talked about that this morning, and then we also talked about some strategies in our region in terms of plea agreements, perhaps looking at ways to get the loss calculation sort of finite before you enter sentencing. Some real practice pointers and good tips for the trade.
Okay, Nina, you're presenting on international extradition and mutual assistance. Quite a thorny topic, I would imagine. What do you see impacting the white-collar bar as they deal with international issues?
It's really interesting because I think in the last year we have seen the politicization of extradition. And because of that, I think courts are taking a harder look at the law that has sort of regulated extradition. For example, there was a recent Second Circuit case talking about that the accused doesn't have to come to the United States to defend themselves anymore. Anyway, that's what the Second Circuit said. I'm sure other circuits will take a different position, but that's pretty groundbreaking. And I think we're going to see some changes in extradition. I think we're already seeing those changes. I think a lot of it has to do with the press and like I said, the politicization of extradition matters. I've got a couple of extradition matters right now that are highly publicized, and it is that very publicity that really changes the platform that everyone's working off of. So I'm really looking forward to this panel. We have Bruce Swartz with us. He's the Deputy Attorney General, the Assistant Deputy Attorney General. So I think it's going to be really interesting.
One of my favorite parts of the ABA's White Collar Conference is the networking activities, if we want to call them that. Some people would call them parties. Unfortunately, I think many of those have been foregone this year, thankfully, for safety reasons. So I was going to ask, which event are you looking most forward to? But maybe we stay on task here and say, which panel besides your own are you most looking forward to attending? Jamila, let's start with you.
Well, I do have to say, JonesDay is having a party. I know that you got an invite to
Excellent.
And I'm looking forward to that. And there are a couple of events tonight. There's a faculty dinner that's going to be here, and then the Cigars Under the Stars is making a comeback. So there are some great social events. You're right, Chris, Becky. One of the reasons we come is to see each other. I mean, it's always great substance, but the connections that we make at the conference are really the invaluable part of it. So I am looking forward to all of that. And on Friday morning, Mary Jo White and my law partner, Rick Dean, are on a panel on ethical challenges in high-profile cases. And Nina and I both have some high-profile cases that have some ethical challenges, not on our end, but we're interested to see what the thoughts are and how you sort of combat that when you're faced with that from the government side. So I'm looking forward to Friday and that particular panel. And there's some events tomorrow night, but I think most of the socializing will happen tonight.
Nina, same question to you. What are you looking forward to?
So I like to refer to this conference as my Super Bowl. It's actually that much fun for me. But in terms of upcoming panels, the FCPA panel, shout out to Karen Pop. She is the founder of Women White Collar Defense Association. She'll be on the FCPA panel. Interesting panel on compassionate release. Again, Women White Collar Defense Association took a real lead in handling compassionate release cases. Interesting panel on restitution coming up in white collar cases. So there's such great programming at this conference all the time. In terms of events, I'm going to probably go kind of light on the events. I'm prepping for trial right now, starting the Varsity Blues second trial in 2 weeks. So I'm kind of making a special appearance here today. I'm going to try to take it relatively easy tonight and then go back to work.
All right. Well, thank you, Nina and Jamila, for joining us for another episode of White Collar Coffee Conversations. We want to thank our viewers and listeners out there for your interest in this podcast and video series. If you have a topic you'd like to discuss in the future, please reach out to Chris or myself on LinkedIn to get connected.
Thanks, everybody. Until next time.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Here's to good coffee and good conversations.